Hello and welcome to the Ink Mages podcast. We're so glad you've joined us. Today is a special episode because we are celebrating the book launch of my new book in the Iron Kingdom series, The Ghost Gambit. Look at this beauty. Woohoo!
Yes, there's the paperback and the hardback, and it is.
Yes.
Check this out. For those of you who are just listening and maybe can't see this, you should go to YouTube and check out this beautiful hardback and paperback.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, so the book is out.
Congratulations! Yes, your book is out and it's beautiful, and it is number 3 in the Iron Kingdom series, and it is by far, I mean, every story, it's like Star Wars. It just gets better and better, and the story builds and the world develops, and love this book. Tell us about your book.
It picks up right after book 2, The Race of Origin ends. So the race are on the scene. They've resurrected this legend, and they raided the Mestrian garrison. And let's just say they created a little bit of havoc for their overlords. And the villain, Anson Grimaud, is not happy about this. So book 3 starts off with our villain, and he's on the hunt. He wants to make the race pay. And he's determined to hunt them down and have them hang from the gallows. So
he's a scary villain.
Oh, he's absolutely terrifying. And like, he's not he's a monster, but like, he's not a like spectral creature monster. He's just terrifying because he's so hell-bent to do whatever it takes to uncover the race. And Rowan, Tahira, and Akron are forced to flee across the wilderness to escape him, and they just are met with peril after peril after peril. Lots of high stakes. They're fighting for their lives and for the people around them. So Rowan and Tahira find that they are now like leaders of an underground resistance, which they hadn't quite planned on. So
This is like one of my favorite things about this book is it's like the team is starting to assemble a little bit, yes. And characters are starting to become a part of the team that are unexpected. Tell us a little bit about the wraiths, and for those who haven't read the books, what are the wraiths?
So the wraiths were comprised of 10 warriors who used to fight for the Chandrian king, he passed away, and they died in battle 100 years ago. Same with the wraiths. So they have been legends amongst the people for 100 years, and the people currently, the citizens of Origin, are hoping that their legends will return and save them from the oppression of the Mestrian Empire. So in book 2, Akron gets this idea, and tells his brother Rowan, "Hey, we should resurrect the legends of the race and go basically create mayhem for the Mestrians." And that's what they do. So they don their masks. It's their iron wraith masks, and they're like spirits of vengeance. Basically, that is what a wraith is meant to embody. They also represent hope for their people, but to try to basically scare the enemy by having these masks. You can't tell who they are, so really enhancing that ghostly spirit aspect. Hence almost the name, the Ghost Gambit.
Yes, they're kind of like these supernatural. They almost don't. The people don't think that these are real people, but are these returned entities.
Yes,
it's almost like Batman and the mobsters of Gotham
yes.
City. You've got kind of this vengeant dark knight that is coming to avenge the city and the people. But what's so fun about your book is it's this team. It's just Akron and Rowan to begin with, but then we've got, Tahira joins the fray. We've got Mara, and then some other characters start coming in.
Yes,
tell us a little bit about those.
We have a new POV character is Keegan, and he's a 14-year-old archer, and he's dealing with a terrible tragedy. So he's kind of in a sensitive, dark abyss, and he is joining the team. And my first writing him was a personal journey for sure. I think I was like 75,000 words into the book before I felt really strongly that I needed to tackle this character's perspective. And I spent like 2 weeks sitting with that idea. I built a playlist of very like sad, somber, melancholy songs. And this character is struggling with suicidal ideation. So I let my husband know that I was going to be writing this character. And it's like, I'm going to be listening to some heart songs. I'm going to be in this headspace. And it was something I struggled with in my 20s. So in order to write from his perspective, I had to pull my own darkness
Hmm.
and sit in that place of feeling like I wanted to escape. And that was the main word that I used for his perspective when we first meet him is escaping everything, escaping the madness, escaping the darkness. It's escaping pain, basically. And but his arc is beautiful, and I really love that it's in there. I almost took it out. So thank goodness I stuck with my gut and I left him in there, and I hope you all take to heart his struggle and
Well, and he does have a darker storyline, a sad one, but one that I think is necessary. And it's funny because when I read the book, even though he has deep, dark struggles, I found him a bright spot in the story. So there isn't this feeling of being pulled down by his character. It's this need to cheer for him, and he is a bright spot and one of my favorite additions to the team. I remember when at the very beginning of the book, I'm not going to spoil anything, but when it becomes clear that he's kind of being invited into this, maybe even reluctantly, I cheered. I was like, yes. And so there is this bright spot about this character, and absolutely necessary. I'm so glad you left it in. And I think it really is actually going to be a bright spot for people who read it, and people who maybe need to walk through maybe the journey that they've had to find healing, because it's amazing. And good storytelling does that, right? You've got these amazing dynamic characters that create space for people to actually encounter something real while they're reading the story. And Keegan is that in spades.
Yes, I love him. The theme for his arc is to chase the light. So even when things are at their darkest, you can find the strength and courage to chase the light.
Yes. And one of my other favorite parts of this story, I have a couple favorites, but definitely there's a new romance that kind of begins to bloom. So for those of you who love a good romantasy, they're going to love this part of her series.
Yeah, so if you have read the Race of Arjun, you know things have been a little dicey and fiery with Akron and Mara. So Akron and Mara are race. They comprise the band, and it was so rewarding to finally get to the third book, and I pit them where they have to lean on each other to survive. So you have two people who've just been at each other's throats an entire book, but there's chemistry there. And if they can just drop their walls, put their guards down, and be honest with themselves, then maybe some sparks can fly. And they were definitely one of my favorite aspects and dynamics in this story. It was so fun to write their dialogue. So fun. I love writing arguments. I love the tension between a couple, or even just other characters, but them especially. They're a highlight, and they'll steal your heart. Watch out.
Well, they both of them, Mara and Akron, they have the Han Solo thing going, where they want to be the opposite. They want to be counter everything, but really deep down is this gooey center but they're having a hard time. They haven't been able to touch that space for a very long time. And so just characters like that capture you more than other characters sometimes, because you get to go on that journey with them where they're just so stubborn and pig-headed, and they're like, I'm a gangster, like that's who I'm going to be, and that's all I've ever been. And you're like, nuh-uh. You're just waiting for that part of the story. Especially with Mara. Like, I didn't ever think I would fall in love with her as a character. Never in a million years. I was like, she's awful.
Oh, she's a mean girl.
Yeah, she is a mean girl, and nobody
She's a
likes a
mean
mean
girl.
girl.
No.
And yet you have managed to create another character you want to cheer for. And I think you're very talented in writing characters like that, and definitely love that part of your storytelling. And those characters are so fun to read. Um, and I love some of the personal touches that you put in the story about bread making. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Gosh, this is one of my favorite scenes, and it's with Akron, and so him and let's see if I can do this without spoilers. At one point, Akron
Okay,
and
don't
Mara
spoil it.
will they'll take refuge. They'll take refuge at a farmstead, and meet two new characters who were inspired by my parents.
I love it.
So if you love this older farming couple, they were inspired by my parents, and I think that really helped in bringing them to life.
Yeah.
And my dad he's a bread maker. He makes sourdough. He makes all sorts of bread. And I thought this would be fun for Akron to learn a skill that is the complete opposite of anything he'd ever do, because he's a fighter. He's a man of violence. He's a brawler. He's a solve problems with his fists. So when he meets this like guy who just loves to cook and loves to
Yeah.
bake, it creates a very heartwarming, tender scene and a great place of connection for Akron to interact with a normal older person and basically know what he's fighting for. I feel like when you create characters that show the realness of
Yeah.
the plight of like they're being oppressed, and here is a couple that just wants to live their lives and not have to be paying taxes to
Yeah.
some foreign country. So there's great dialogue between Akron and this farmer, and jokes are said, and he makes bread. It's hilarious. It was inspired because I didn't know how to make bread, and then I'm writing Akron learning how to make bread, and so I told my dad, I was like, my brass arrogant pugilist is learning how to make bread. I need to know how to make bread. So I had my dad come over and teach me.
It's kind of like the actual gooey center, like
Yeah.
as he's making bread, it's like exposing that gooey center a little bit. I love that part. Sometimes it's some of the most gentle scenes that have
Yes.
such huge impact to a story, which is amazing.
We love the epic, we love action scenes, but it's those character building moments that I think are the ones that resonate the most and
Yes.
stick with us and make us laugh. Like,
Yeah.
if this book's got if it's gripping and has high stakes and there's lots of peril, you need those moments of levity. And I definitely want to make you laugh too, and not just like, are the characters going to be okay?
Yeah, right. And I don't know if this is a spoiler, so if it is, we'll just move on to another question. But I love the creatures that you bring into this story. Is there anything you want to tell us about those new additions to the world?
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Because we love mythical creatures here
Yes.
on the Ink Mages. So
Yeah.
I do have a race of trolls that will make their debut in the Ghost Gambit. They are known as Tharman. So I yes, the term troll is used, but I wanted to separate my creatures from probably like the Lord of the Rings or the typical ugly, slow, blocky, stumbly type of trolls that don't even talk, or they talk really broken. So I
Right.
wanted to create a race that of trolls that live underground. They don't interact with humans much. They'll have like crystal quartz type that grow on their body and their skin.
I love that detail.
Yes, like and they're tall and they will eat humans. Like so they're still creatures. Like you do need to be wary. You should be wary of them.
I love that. I remember just being so excited about them. Again, we love our creatures here on the Ink Mages, but I love how you brought these to life, and they are totally unique to your story. They're not the typical troll at all. So that was really fun. I almost envisioned, except for like some of the detailing on the back. Have you ever watched the old Time Machine Um, and then they go back in
Oh,
time, and then you've got the two races, right? You've got
the
the
Minoc.
the Minoc. There was something about
Yeah.
that was kind of reminiscent, except yours are way cooler than Minocs. But there was something about the visual that was similar to me in my imagination when I read them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I like those. So one more thing, I want to talk about Tahira in this story a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit
we
because
can't
I
not talk about Tahira. She's on the
she's
cover.
right on the cover, and a huge part of the story is Tahira's journey in this.
Yeah, so if you've not read the first two books, that is okay. But I have a wonderful, spunky heroine named Tahira, and she is developing her conjure magic. So in the first book, she's not quite aware that she has it. She knows the history of her ancestors, but didn't necessarily think she had the gift. And she will discover that she does. And in the third book, she is delving deeper into the magic and unlocking new abilities. And it's a frightening to her, but exciting. So she's a little torn because let's see, Rowan, the love interest, has a history with conjure magic, and it's a bit triggery for
Yeah.
him at times. And so here, the love of his life is delving into this magic and creating apparitions. And there is blood magic too, and I'm not going to go too into detail with that because I want you to discover it for yourself. But it was exciting to write her perspective in this book, and there is a dynamic that develops, and it's like, oh, do I want to talk about this? Let's just say someone is kind of there in her head coaching her, and it's hard to say if she can trust this voice or not. Um, Person is there to help, it seems, to help her with her magic because she is in what she feels a dire need to develop her magic so she can help the race and protect her people. So she is driven by a strong desire to protect those she loves. And when you have power at your disposal, it can corrupt if you're not too careful. So there is a bit of a deadly dance that she is wrestling with in the
Yes.
third book of where's the line
Yes.
with her magic? What's too dark? At what point does she need to be careful that she doesn't lose parts of herself?
It's kind of like the last episode, our Halloween special. We were
Yes.
talking about Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
And it's good to be a Jedi, right? Jedis are heroes, and they
Mm-hmm.
have this force that they're able to use. But Anakin wasn't patient, and there were voices that came in to tempt him. And we all know ultimately he becomes Darth Vader. But that temptation with the power that comes, is definitely there. And so I love that dynamic in the story. And of course, she is on the cover, and Tahira
Yes.
is beautiful, and we love her so much, especially as Rowan's counterpart in the story. And Rowan is the number one guy. And again, you've got to read
Our
The
hero.
Conjurer's Curse, where you fall in love with Rowan. We talk so little about him in this episode, but it's because he is the guy. Like throughout the entire series, you've got Rowan, who is just this wonderful hero. Maybe we should talk a little bit about Rowan before we close.
Well, love Rowan. He is, I guess, Antihero is same. They are struggling at the beginning of this book with failure. Things didn't go quite as they had planned with their raid against the garrison. So he is wrestling and in a dark place, feeling a bit hopeless at the beginning. And there's this burden that he's taken on to be a wraith and to be a defender of the people, and he feels like he's failed. So he will have a visit from a character, a special character that'll help give him some hope and remind him what they are fighting for and what the purpose of a wraith is. So I love how much he transforms into in the third book. You know, the first one, his goal was break this curse so that he can be free of it and not continue to kill those around him that he loves. And in the second book, it's like, yay, I'm helping my people the people that live, the tenants that live on his land, and then Akron does something, and now it's like the world is pulled out from under him, and now he's embarking on a greater mission to be a wraith. And then I feel like reality really sets in at the beginning of the third book for him of what's the cost going to be. So he is someone who is always weighing costs, whereas Akron's just like, let's do this thing. Rowan's like, oh my gosh, but people's lives are at stake. It's gonna take sacrifice. And that was something he was warned about in the race of Arjun from the ghost. The ghost in the Citadel, like there are always sacrifices. A storm comes and you're either gonna break and become shattered stone, or you become the storm itself. Yes.
Such a good, that was wisdom right there. I love that.
So that's something that each of the race will have to realize. They can't shatter at this moment. This is do or die. This is destiny. And Rowan's going to embrace that storm and keep moving forward. And that's a big responsibility because now he, in a sense, is the leader of this resistance. People are looking to him to save them from the enforcer, the antagonist, and the empire, the Western Empire that is there to oppress them.
I love you use the word cost, because I love how in your world building with this this people group and the Mestrians who are oppressing them, just how much there is a cost to every decision that Rowan or Akron make. And even as a reader, so much tension because you understand how bad the baddies are. And you just really, you don't want them to retreat. You want them to break through, but you are so afraid for them to make the heroic choice because the cost is so heavy laden in the story. You really understand that every single decision they make to break through means that things are going to happen that you don't want to have happen. And so love that how you have painted this picture, and it is a page turner. You guys got to pick up a copy of The Ghost Gambit. If you haven't read The Conjurer's Curse, you got to pick that up too.
Right back there.
Stephanie, tell us about what's next for you too, because there's more coming.
There is more coming. I have started book 4, and I honestly started it a year ago, but I didn't. I just put it on the shelf because sometimes you need to. My book. The third book, this book had not been edited yet. It hadn't gone, my publisher hadn't read it. So sometimes your story gets changed. People will read it and give you ideas, and content might change. So I felt like I should hold off on writing book 4. But now my characters are talking again. Now that the book is out, like they are in my head. There's conversations between Tahira and Mara that are like, girls, be quiet. Like, I'm not ready for this scene yet. So my notes in my app are getting filled. So it's exciting that my characters are talking again. And let's see, I also have a prequel written for the Iron Kingdom series, and I'm hoping that could be published next year. It's called Beneath the Crescent Shadow, and it is written from Naja's perspective, and Naja is Rowan's 4th guardian mother. And so it's told from her perspective, and it is a journey of her accepting motherhood. Basically, that's it in a nutshell. Coming to love this cursed albino young boy who has nobody, and her loving him and becoming his mother. So it's a beautiful, tender, bittersweet.
It will make you cry.
So emotional. My goodness, I love it. And I really hope it can be published next year. So that's already written. It's done. It's really ready for edits. And then, the 4th book. I have no idea how long this will take me. I want to say it could be a year. That's how long it took me to write and draft The Ghost Gambit. So I'm going to take my time. You can't rush a story. And I love when it comes to me. When characters are talking, and there's a lot to wrap up. There's a lot to untangle in the 4th book, and I'm excited. There's a lot of ideas pouring in, but I have no idea where they are on the timeline. So I'll just be throwing stuff onto the page and rearranging it as it comes.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to find out what happens next. I'm totally invested. And is this going to finalize the series, or do you not know?
Oh. Because I'm a pantser, you just don't know.
Yeah.
I believe it could be wrapped up. Like
Okay.
I
The
believe it.
possibilities are
The
there.
possibility for like this arc at least to be wrapped up, but if you have been tuning into the Ink Mages, you know that I have a separate adult fantasy series that takes place in the same world. And I love the idea of the fourth book ending in such a way that it bridges straight over to where the adult book starts. So, kind of gives, I'm hoping to end it in such a way that it teases the greater conflict and dynamics, like with the Immortal King
Yeah.
and the Mestrian side of things. So, I think it would be awesome to tie in. And I do have ideas for possibly like a novella, like a fifth book
Ooh.
that could even be a good segue before
Wow.
we switch to the adult fantasy series. But that's my goal. My goal
Yeah.
is to hopefully wrap up the main race arc with book 4.
Yay. Well, I'm so excited. Well, again, you guys pick up the Ghost Gambit, start the Iron Kingdom series. It's worth it. You will really, really enjoy it. You don't want to miss out. It's really well written. It's a fantastic adventure with characters that you can't stop thinking about. She also has the Heartsmith that's out. That book is the second book is also on its way to us soon, and be looking out for her other books. But let's just help Stephanie launch her book and really give her some love and support. Please leave us a like, leave us a comment. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about here on the Ink Mages. We love that you are with us, and we'll see you next time.